Dr. Stiglitz, I have some questions for you today. I've been hearing a lot about buy, borrow, and die. Can you explain what buy, borrow, and die is, Dr. Stiglitz?
What that refers to is the way so many of the share buybacks work. Uh, what you do is you borrow money from the market uh, to finance your buybacks. You get deductions for your interest on your borrowing. The share buybacks are taxed at favorable rates, only the increment over what you purchased. And meanwhile, and this is probably the worst part, because you've reduced the number of shares of the company, this value, the price per share goes up, and the CEO gets a big bonus for doing nothing other than financial wizardry. It's nothing real. It doesn't help create jobs. It doesn't help the economy. In fact, it makes the economy worse because the company is now suffering from an additional liability from the borrowing.
And Dr. Stiglitz, in preparing for this hearing, of several studies that I found, the one I'm going to point to is some of the experts at Georgetown found that the wealthy avoid taxes for 75% of their investment income. Why is it that the wealthy engage in this tax avoidance strategy?
Well, it's because our tax code gives them the opportunity to do it. Over the years, I've seen the very rich engaged, particularly through hedge funds, in amazing strategies to avoid and, in some case, evade taxes. The worst get caught and have to pay back, but our tax code is just rife with these provisions that provide for advantageous treatment if you have smart tax lawyers.
And so, Dr. Stiglitz, trying to better understand tax policies that have been adopted in recent memory, namely under the previous president, there are estimates that have come out associated with what is a benefit to the wealthy from a stepped-up basis perspective. And the Joint Commission on Tax estimated that the step-up basis at death will cost the U.S. $299.3 billion from 2022 to 2026, or about $60 billion a year. And so I just want to take a moment to put that into perspective. I'm one of, I think, two senators right now that went to pre-K. I thought everyone went to Head Start. I didn't know that I had to qualify for the program. That's a joke. What I understand about universal pre-K is that it costs about $14 billion a year. So again, $299 billion is the number I referred to earlier. The Affordable Connectivity Program that provides affordable broadband to over 23 million low-income Americans costs $11 billion a year. The United States recently passed the Bipartisan Radiation Exposure Compensation Reauthorization Act to deliver long overdue justice to those left out of the original RECA program passed in 1990 and amended in 2000. And the New Mexicans who had the first nuclear bomb dropped in their backyards were left out. The program's supposed to provide compensation to downwinders and uranium workers, but it had expired on Monday. This just goes to show another area where investment from America could make a positive difference in the lives of so many that injustice has been the only thing that they've experienced. Now, Dr. Stiglitz, how does stepped-up basis and buy, borrow impact the ability of the government to fund critical programs such as education, healthcare, housing, and infrastructure development?
Focus on the step of a basis. It's a mechanism by which rich people totally avoid paying taxes on the income that they've accrued, the capital gains that they've accrued for years, in some cases, decades. So while ordinary people are paying taxes year after year, if you get your income in the form of capital gains, you can postpone it. And then with a step of a basis, you never pay for it. One of the things that I argued my introductory remarks was that constructive realization, where you force individuals to pay year by year on their capital gains as they accrue, would be an important step forward. But if you don't do that, it's absolutely imperative that you have this step up of basis. And as you pointed out, the revenues lost are very large and could be used in so many constructive ways. You gave a couple examples. There are more we could talk about. Enabling more students to go to college. Tuition has gone up enormously. So there are a very large number of very productive investments yielding very high returns that would be able to be financed by the revenue you could generate from those two proposals that you talked about.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator